Support WrestleTalk!
So, some admin before the Rumble actually kicks off. Earlier in the night, The Miz and John Morrison beat the New Day to become SmackDown Tag Team Champions, and Eric Rowan becomes 24/7 champion by hitting R-Truth with his spooky hamster or something. I really hate it. So, starting with number 1, Chunk Lester. He comes down to the ring, he does his clever little dance and wishes he was back at home eating some cow and shooting some cow. Then we have number 2, which is Elias. Because he can really only do his stuff when everyone's waiting for a bit. So he comes down to the ring, singing a little song about all of Brock Lesnar's worst qualities as a human. He could cover the B-52's Rock Lobster and instead call it Brock Lobster. He then hits Brock Lesnar with the guitar, and the guitar just sort of hangs around Brock Lesnar's neck like a Burning Man necklace. He doesn't move, and then he just destroys Elias, and over the top rope he goes. Number 3 is Eric Rowan. He comes down to the ring with the cage and is immediately obliterated because I can't get on board with the I've got a pet but I'll never tell storyline. So he destroys Eric Rowan, Brock F5s him twice. R-Truth comes down to the ring with a microphone and says, "Hey Brock, do you mind if I get in on this?" and pins Eric Rowan in the middle of the ring to become the 24/7 champion. Brock gives him a little smile, a thumbs up, and then destroys R-Truth and throws both men out of the ring. Number 4 is Dolph Ziggler. He scampers down to the ring and pins R-Truth, becomes 24/7 champion. He grabs the title belt and rushes into the ring. He tries to smash Brock Lesnar with it, but he ducks and hits Ziggler with 5, maybe 6 F5s before eliminating Dolph Ziggler. But then Brock Lesnar thinks better of it, goes outside, grabs Ziggler again, brings him back into the ring and pins him to become the 24/7 champion. He picks up the belt and he just sort of throws it away. Paul Heyman picks it up on the outside and is carrying around now the WWE Championship and the 24/7 Championship. Number 5 is Keith Lee, who is the most gifable wrestler of all time and my favorite person. Him and Brock club 8 bells out of each other. Brock tries this thing where he tries to German suplex Lee. Lee plants himself and then just very slowly turns around in Brock Lesnar's arms and then belly to bellies him. Number 6 is Rey Mysterio. Rey comes down to the ring with his 2 greatest weapons, the very light lead pipe and his giant son. Brock Lesnar grabs Dominic, is gonna get him up for an F5 when Keith Lee pounces all men through the ropes. So Brock Lesnar and Dominic are on the outside, they went through the ropes. Rey Mysterio goes through the ropes, climbs the turnbuckle, then Keith Lee goes through the ropes, stands on the ring apron. Rey Mysterio gets on Keith Lee's shoulders while Dominic is hitting Brock Lesnar with the lead pipe repeatedly, putting him on the announce table. Then Rey Mysterio flies off Keith Lee, through Brock, through the announce table, and then Dominic pins Brock Lesnar to become the 24/7 champion. Next up, it's Otis, the Cake Man. All of the people I'm putting in this Rumble, I looked on Wikipedia and they all officially announced, which means I am contractually obligated to put Heavy Machinery in the thing. Ollie quite likes Heavy Machinery, don't you, Ollie? Yeah. So Otis comes to the ring, I don't know, he's maybe got a cake with like Royal Rumble written on it. He puts the cake on his head, he slaps his belly, does a face, slaps his belly again, I don't know. And then Keith Lee refuses to dance with him. Instead, he just spirit bombs the hell out of him because Keith Lee is the best. Number 8 is Andrade, who immediately rushes to the ring and he rips Rey Mysterio's mask all the way around his head and punks him over the top rope because Andrade sneak attacking Rey Mysterio is my favorite song. He throws Rey Mysterio right onto Dominic, kind of wiping out the big lad, and then Paul Heyman just sort of sidles over, puts one foot on Dominic's chest and becomes the 24/7 champion. Next up, number 9, it's Old Kane. Thank heavens for Old Kane. Him and Keith Lee get to slapping beef. Keith Lee throws Kane into one corner and he's sort of like resting in the other corner. He's about to launch himself at Kane when suddenly behind him on the ring apron rises Brock Lesnar, who has woken up and he's hungry. So Brock Lesnar starts going mental. He picks up Keith Lee and hurls him into Kane. Then the number 10 entrant comes out. It's Tucker. Piss off. Immediately eliminated. Then Brock Lesnar F5s Andrade out of the ring. He eliminates Kane from the ring. He kicks Otis in the dick forever, then eliminates Otis. And then finally it's him and Keith Lee. Paul Heyman throws the WWE title to Brock Lesnar. He nails Keith Lee in the head with it. Then he rebounds off the ropes, nails him again because Keith Lee is just still staggering. He's near the ropes. And then finally Brock Lesnar gets him a third time with a clothesline over the top rope. So the final image before the number 11th entrant is Brock standing in the middle of the ring holding the WWE Championship. Number 11th entrant is Kofi Kingston. Kofi walks to the ring, seeing the championship that he never got a rematch for. He enters the ring, he squares up to Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's just sort of laughing because he sees Kofi as no threat. Kofi slaps him in the face as hard as he can, and Brock goes tomato mode. He picks up Kofi Kingston and he throws him over the top rope. Kofi lands on the outside on Paul Heyman, and his feet sort of land on Paul Heyman's torso, and Paul Heyman's just sort of like face down. He's dead. Kofi Kingston sort of stands, gets to his feet on top of Paul Heyman, sort of rides him like a surfboard, and then jumps back onto the ring steps and re-enters the ring just as number 12 arrives. It's Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle and Brock Lesnar just go full MMA on each other. And then Kofi Kingston climbs back into the ring, sneaks in a low blow on Brock Lesnar, and Matt Riddle throws Brock Lesnar out of the Rumble. Brock Lesnar is eliminated. Bro. So in the fallout of Brock being gone, R-Truth comes down to the ring again. He pins Paul Heyman, reclaiming the 24/7 championship and fulfilling the prophecy he made on Raw of beating Paul Heyman at the Royal Rumble. Then the number 13 entrant arrives. It's Nakamura. He immediately Kinshasas R-Truth, pins him, becomes a 24/7 champion, climbs into the ring to start mixing it up with Riddle and with Kingston. At this point, we're going to let the pool fill up a little bit. So number 14 is Aleister Black. He goes on a black mass spree. Him and Riddle comes to blows, which I think would be nice to see. Then Riddle tries to kick Kofi, who ducks. Trouble in Paradises Riddle, and then Aleister Black black masses him over the top rope because you don't want him to sort of stick around too long, I think, after he's eliminated Brock Lesnar. Let that be Riddle's thing for the Rumble, and that's the thing that he can talk about after it, and it's like a little locked-in moment. Number 15 is Bobby Lashley. He comes down to the ring and spears everyone. While they're down, he invites Lana into the ring to renew their wedding vows, because I'm pretty sure you can get at least one more wedding out of this angle. Why settle with two? Him and Lana read from cue cards about how much they love each other, and everyone's really going to hate it, and it's going to be great. Then number 16 is Braun. Except it's not. He comes out and then immediately Rusev comes out with like a bit of paper or whatever the weird little kind of plastic cups they did that one year. Anyway, he's got his number and he offers to swap it with Braun. You know, I'm later in the Rumble, but please, man, I really need this. Braun says, okay, fine. Braun, and then like kind of walks to the back. So Rusev barrels down to the ring, immediately starts laying into Lashley. Lana tries to distract Rusev by saying, actually, you're the one I love. Happy Rusev Day. And then Lashley goes for the spear. Rusev dodges and Lashley spears Lana. Rusev then grabs Bobby Lashley and throws him over the top rope. Number 17 is Ricochet. Ricochet comes in, does a bit of the old flippity bippity. Him and Kofi get into it. Him and Kofi go over the top rope onto the apron, but Ricochet flips himself around and kicks Kofi off the apron into the waiting arms of Big E, who has appeared at ringside. Big E looks down at Kofi and says, not this year. Not this year. And then throws Kofi back into the ring where he catches Ricochet with a tilt-a-whirl DDT. Number 18 is Randy Orton, who hits an RKO first on Ricochet, then on Kofi, then on Aleister Black, then on Nakamura, and then on Rusev. He does the move, and he does the move well. Number 19 is Drew McIntyre. Now, the Scottish Psychopath's face turn is starting to really take off, so I want him to do a bit of a thing in this Rumble. He hits Claymores on everyone, including one final one at the end, a double one on Aleister Black and Ricochet. Both of them flip inside out. Number 20 is AJ Styles. AJ Styles enters and then immediately hits an RKO, first on Ricochet, then on Kofi, then on Nakamura, then on Aleister Black, and then on Rusev. The exact same order. Randy sneaks up behind him, tries to hit an RKO of his own, then AJ Styles counters it, tries to go for his own, counter, and then Drew McIntyre hits a double RKO on both men and eliminates both. 21 is Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy's music hits, but he doesn't appear. Aleister Black, sort of hearing his old rival's music, turns to look up the rampway. Instead, Buddy Murphy has run through the crowd and eliminates Aleister Black from behind. Then he hits V-triggers on everyone. It's not, what does he call the V-trigger? What's his word for it? Running knee. 22 is Samoa Joe, who goes straight for Buddy Murphy, who will bump like crazy for him. Rusev tries to hit a matchka kick on Drew McIntyre, who dodges and hits him with a Claymore, which sends him out of the ring. I would quite like to see those two fight at Mania. It would have Big Dad energy. Number 23, this time it's Braun. He comes down to the ring, hits everyone. Ricochet springboards off the ropes at Braun, who catches him with one hand and then throws him very far out of the ring. He grabs Nakamura up for the running power slam. Sami Zayn comes down to the ring and says, no, I refuse. You put him down right now. And of course, he power slams him onto Sami Zayn, throws both men out of the ring. R-Truth comes down and pins Nakamura to become 24/7 champion. Number 24 is KO. And this is where sort of the final bit of the Rumble starts, the big storyline that sort of pushes towards the end, because he's attacked from behind by Seth Rollins and the AOP. Seth Rollins repeatedly stomps Kevin Owens onto the ramp, and then he sends AOP down to the ring with chairs. First of all, they smash the hell out of R-Truth, who's at ringside. Then they enter the ring, they smash up Samoa Joe, which allows Buddy Murphy to eliminate Joe. Then AOP focus on Braun because they're working under instructions from Seth Rollins, get the biggest threats out of the ring. They pick up Braun, go for a double suplex near the ropes, then Buddy Murphy does a standing drop kick which sends Braun out of the ring and out of the Rumble. AOP then leave the ring, leaving carnage in their wake. The next entrant is Baron Corbin, who walks to the ring very slowly, enjoying himself, pins R-Truth with one finger to become the 24/7 champion, gets in the ring and hits Kofi Kingston with End of Days, and then just sort of like says, who's next? Him and Buddy Murphy come to some sort of heel arrangement, like, we'll take care of these guys. And he's just sort of swaggering, wearing his Jon Snow coat and the horrible crown. Number 26 is Kurt Angle. I know he's retired, but he's the best and he retired wrong. He hits Baron Corbin with the Angle Slam and then locks in the ankle lock, and then Baron Corbin taps in the ring, which means that Kurt Angle becomes the 24/7 champion. He eliminates Baron Corbin, who then retreats to the back, and then finally Kurt Angle has received the send-off he deserves. He stands in the ring, Buddy Murphy maybe eats an Angle Slam, and then the next entrant is John Cena. These guys finally come face to face, which is what everyone wanted at WrestleMania. And then John Cena points at the WrestleMania sign and says, "What you got?" And you see Kurt Angle mouth, "Ruthless aggression." He takes John Cena down, starts raining punches down on him. He tries to get him up for an Angle Slam. It's counted into an AA and Kurt Angle is eliminated. He's approached by R-Truth outside the ring. R-Truth hands him the 24/7 championship belt and he holds up Kurt Angle's hand. Kurt Angle will vacate the belt tomorrow night on Raw, but no one pins Kurt Angle ever again. John Cena waits for the next challenger, and it's, well, you think you know him, it's CM Punk. No, it's Edge. In 2010, Edge made a surprise return from injury and eliminated John Cena. 10 years later, Edge makes a surprise return from injury and eliminates John Cena. This is all to set up what I think would be a pretty good match at Mania, which is John Cena versus Edge. You can explain Edge coming back being like, well, I had to retire. I didn't know I was having a final match. I didn't get to go out on my terms. I want one more match and I wanted to be against my greatest rival, John Cena. So Edge is still in the ring, he's spearing everyone. 1 spear, 2 spears, 3 spears, and then like summoning Beetlejuice, out comes Roman Reigns. So Roman Reigns is number 29. Him and Edge hit dueling spears on Cena and Drew McIntyre. Cena is eliminated by Edge, who turns around into a spear from Roman Reigns, who then turns around into a Trouble in Paradise from Kofi Kingston, who then turns around into a knee from Buddy Murphy, who then turns around into a Claymore kick from Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre eliminates Buddy Murphy. Number 30 is Seth Rollins. And he's brought his sexy goons with him. Him and AOP come down to the ring and start wrecking shop. First they beat up Big E at ringside, then they enter the ring, they dogpile on Drew. AOP hold Drew's head near the mat, and Seth Rollins stomps him, then eliminates Drew. Seth turns around and offers a shield fist bump to Roman Reigns, who then, it looks like he's gonna do it, but actually, oh no, it's this thing, and then he Superman punches him in the face. Then Rollins and AOP are big dogpiling on Roman Reigns when Kevin Owens' music hits and he comes down to the ring. Like, no one sells I am not in a good way health-wise, but I'm gonna do this anyway, like Kevin Owens. He's got a kendo stick with him and he just sort of limps to the ring. AOP are sent out of the ring by Seth Rollins, and then KO breaks the kendo stick on the AOP, sends them to the back before trying to climb into the ring, where he eats one more stomp from Seth Rollins, who then throws him over the top rope. He turns around into a spear from Roman Reigns, who then from behind is immediately eliminated by Kofi Kingston. There are two men left in the 2020 Royal Rumble, Kofi Kingston and Seth Rollins. Bit of a tense back and forth. Seth Rollins dodges a Trouble in Paradise, throws Kofi Kingston over the top rope onto the ring apron. He hits Kofi with a super kick, who falls back out of the ring onto the floor, but with one foot still hovering off the ground. And he's there in no man's land, and he doesn't know how he's going to get back into the ring. He has one foot still in the air when Xavier Woods comes from the back. He's on crutches because he's got to sell the injury. He comes down and he lifts up Kofi Kingston. Big E is also there. He limps over. They've had a hellish tag team match earlier in the night. He picks up Kofi Kingston, and together the New Day walk each other back to the ring. They place Kofi on the ring steps and he looks back at his brothers. All of them hurt, but all of them still here. Kofi flies back into the ring and he lays out Seth Rollins. There's more tense back and forth before Rollins takes control with a low blow. Kofi is on the ground. He's gasping. He's almost done. He spent maybe 40 minutes in this Rumble. He's on his hands and knees next to the ropes. Rollins rebounds off the ropes. He does a bit of showboating before. Of course he does. Ha ha ha. He rebounds off the ropes, goes for one last stomp, the biggest stomp ever. He launches himself into the air. Kofi rises from underneath, catches him in midair and throws him out over the top rope. Kofi Kingston wins the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble. This is, I honestly think, the only year that Kofi Kingston can win this thing and finally capitalize on the legacy of amazing things that he has done in the Royal Rumble match. He gets 3 escapes and he wins the whole thing to go on to WrestleMania to fight against Brock for the WWE Championship that Fox made him lose.
Click the videos that have appeared somewhere on the screen to watch some more awesome WrestleTalk things. I've been Ollie Davis, this has been Adam Blampied, and that was, you know, it was a thing.
It really was.
It just was.